Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jade. It is wonderful to have you here because today's video is going to be a July wrap-up / August TBR, and I'm just going to give my brief thoughts on my July wrap-up and tell you what I plan to read in the month of August. I'm going to go ahead and quit talking. We're going to get going because I have a bunch of books to talk about today. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and to follow me on my other socials. TikTok and Instagram, I'm at Jade's Books 5. I post a lot of short form videos over on TikTok and a lot of bookish reviews and posts over on my Instagram, so go check those out. But let's go ahead and get started. So this first book that I read, which I read from July 1st to July 4th, is When Hobby Dumped Money by Mia Sosa. I actually filmed a reading vlog of me reading this book, so I'm going to go ahead and link it up at the top so that you can watch me read this and kind of I go a bit more in depth in my thoughts, and you can see like the scenes of which I'm reading and my reactions and everything in real time. But to go ahead and give my brief thoughts on this, because I did explain it a bit more in that video. This book is about Javi and Mari. They met when they were in college, and they have a crush on each other, but the other one doesn't really know, and so they don't want to ruin their friendship, so they never really approach that subject, even though they both like each other. So they end up staying friends all throughout college. They kind of drift apart there for a second, but then they get back together as friends, and Javi decides that he is going to tell Mari that he has been in love with her since they have met. But whenever he decides to tell her at this restaurant, Mari brings her new fiance. And so Javi is like a bit like, wait, what? I am in love with you. I was going to tell you I was in love with you and that we should be together, and you bring your fiance. And so it kind of like this little dilemma, a little unrequited love, a little miscommunication, a little friends to lovers. I will say this is a split timeline, and I didn't know that this was a split timeline. I cannot stand split timelines when they are in romances. I really only like them. I think that they're well done when they are in like thrillers or mysteries, because you have that like added suspense. But when they're in romances, I feel like we just take away from the now. This book was not advertised to me as a split timeline. I did not know that, and we spent a lot of time in the first half of the book in the past, and I could have cared less about the past. I wanted to see Javi's dilemma with him dealing with the fact that the woman he is in love with is engaged to another man. And we did not get that until like the second half of the book, whenever we kind of get their backstory. And so I just dislike this element, and it was such a huge element, and it made me read this book really slow, because I just kind of did not care. And his whole dilemma is that he has 6 weeks to convince Mari not to marry her fiance. And so I thought that that was really fun. That's what drew me into the book. And again, we barely even got that dilemma, even though that it says nothing about a split timeline on the back of here. But we barely got the dilemma until like halfway through the book. And I was just really slow to read it, because we were so much in the past, and I did not know we were going to be in the past a lot. I thought we were just going to be in the present. So if you like split timelines, if you like friends to lovers, if you like a little miscommunication with the fact that they both love each other but they both don't know it, I would recommend this book. I think that you should still try it, even though I didn't like it as much as I thought it would. I feel like some people out here would still like this one. I gave that one 3 stars, but we're going to go ahead and move on to our next book, which is The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. I read this one from July 1st to July 4th as well. And again, this one's also in that reading vlog from when I read When Hobby Dumped Mari. And you get more of my thoughts, more in-depth thoughts, and like me reading it in real time in that video as well. I really recommend it. So this one's about our main character. Her name is Olivia Dumont. She's a ghostwriter, and she kind of had this incident with this other writer, and it caused her from being a little blacklisted from the industry. So she's like not getting any work. She is needing she's like needing money because she has to pay this guy back because he sued her. It's like this whole ordeal. And so this company approaches her, this agent, and says like, hey, would you like to ghostwrite Vincent Taylor's memoir? And she is a bit in shock that they approached her to write Vincent Taylor's memoir, because Olivia Dumont's father is in fact Vincent Taylor, the infamous Vincent Taylor. And the reason why I say infamous is because back in the 70s, when Vincent was like a teenager, his older brother and younger sister were both murdered. And no one knows who did it, but the town of Ojai, California, which is where he grew up and where the murder took place, they all believe that Vincent did it. So she moved away from home when she got old enough to, changed her name because she did not want to be associated with Vincent Taylor and his writing and his stories and his past, because it affected her so much growing up because of how other people treated her. There's a bookmark in here. Okay, I must have just stuck this in the middle of the book, but oh, okay. We'll get that later. This book follows Olivia writing her father's memoir, and you kind of get answers as to what happened that night in Ojai in the 70s when Vincent's brother and sister were both murdered. And so it's a really thrilling and suspenseful read. It is a split timeline, and I feel like this one does it really well because we get Vincent's point of view and then his younger sister's point of view, and we get it all the way up until like the day before she is murdered. And so the suspense is there. It is very thrilling, such a murder mystery, and I definitely recommend it. This is very fast paced, short chapters. I feel like this could get you out of a reading slump. Definitely recommend this one. I gave this one a 4 stars, and I feel like this is perfect for a hot summer day. The next book I read, which I read from July 5th to July 8th, was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I read this one for another video. I was reading the Rebel Ranch series, part 1, which featured this one and Swift and Saddled. I'll link that up here if you want to go check that out. I enjoyed this one. I think I gave this one 3, like a solid 3 stars, because I'm keeping in mind the fact that there are more books in this series. This one follows our main character, Emmy, and she got injured while barrel racing, and she hasn't really been able to get back on a horse. So she moves back home to her family's ranch, and there she meets up with her brother's best friend, Luke Brooks. And growing up, Luke was always in the picture, and Emmy didn't really care for him. They didn't really care for each other. They always clashed. Emmy was younger, Brooks was older, and so there was never really just that like relationship that they had. But whenever Emmy comes home and walks into Brooks's bar that he now owns, he like stops in his tracks, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's Emmy. She's so pretty. I want to be with her. That was kind of my little problem with the book. It felt very insta-lovey. This is straight romance. It's like less than 300. It's a little over 300 pages, but it is straight romance. There's no drama. There's no, like, this book is just very character driven. It is all about them. And if you want a fast-paced romance summary read, I definitely recommend this one. Again, there's like no drama. It was just so like, at some points it felt like there was no plot, just vibes, but there definitely is a plot, and it's the fact that Emmy can't really ride, and the fact that they're hiding their relationship from Emmy's brother, which again is Brooks's best friend, because they're afraid that he will react badly. So there is definitely like a little problem at hand. It felt like the whole story was just like we were going with the flow, and it was very character driven, all about them. So I do recommend this one, but I did give it a 3 stars because I'm keeping in mind the fact that there are going to be more books after this one. Following Done and Dusted, I read from July 9th to July 12th, Swift and Saddled. This one's the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. Again, it is in that little reading vlog. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I enjoyed Done and Dusted. I felt like I didn't really relate to our characters much, but this one did feel like it had a bit more depth to it, and a bit more depth to our characters. Again, there is absolutely like no drama. There is a plot at hand, and we do get like a little third act breakup, but I just feel like this is straight romance again. Like there's no drama, happily ever after guaranteed, very character driven. But this story follows our main character. Her name is Ada, and she is like an interior designer, and she gets called to help design a part of property on Rebel Blue Ranch. But the night before she's supposed to meet with her boss, she goes to this bar. She meets this guy, and they end up making out like in the bathroom or something, and she ends up running away because she gets freaked out. And when she shows up the next day at Rebel Blue Ranch, the guy she made out with is none other than her boss, Weston Ryder, which is Emmy's older brother. These are interconnected standalones. I love this one though because one of my favorite tropes ever is the found family trope, and you really see the found family trope in this one. And like I said, I also feel like the characters in this one had a bit more depth to it. I could really see our characters Ada and Wes be together, and I felt like I knew why they were together. When I read Done and Dusted, like I said, it was very insta-lovey, and you don't really get a build-up in their relationship, and you kind of don't get one right here, but you can understand why they both fell for each other. And it's the fact that Wes is a middle child, and he feels like he is a ghost in his family, and he disappears very easily when he's with the other guys and his sister and everybody. And Ada, she was once married before, and her husband kind of took advantage of her naivety, and he made her very reliant upon him. And so Ada was just wanting so much to be an independent woman, and she started like forgetting the fact that sometimes people can help you and you can ask for help and everything. And so I just loved their character development a bit more. And again, you can tell that they were made for each other. You could tell that these characters loved each other, and you knew why they were together. You could tell that they both just really needed one another. And so I did enjoy this one a bit more, but again, I'm keeping in mind that there are more books in the series, so I gave this one a 3.5 stars. I still have yet to read Lost and Lassoed and Wild and Wrangled. I will also be filming a reading vlog for those ones, but I'm super excited to read those. I definitely recommend the Rebel Blue Ranch series so far. If you want like a fun, summery, quick and easy romance. The next book I read, which I read from July 14th to July 18th, is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I absolutely loved it. This is like if you mix The Cruel Prince with Bridgerton and The Selection. This is the outcome right here. This is set like in 1800s England, and England is ruled by a fake queen, and every year she puts on like this season where all these girls come and try to find a husband, like a coming out season, like in Bridgerton, which is where you get the Bridgerton vibes from. And you get the Cruel Prince vibes because it is like a mix with humans and the fae. And the Selection vibes you get is from the fact that this season is going to be a bit different because the queen's husband, a fae prince, is looking to get married. So all these girls are now in this little competition to see who can win the prince's hand. But what's a bit different about this book is that the high society girls make a bargain with the fae queen in order to get something they want. So like, let's say I feel like having longer hair will help me get a husband. I'll make a bargain with the queen for longer hair. In exchange, she'll take my fingernails or a toe or an ear. And so all these girls go through this. And our main character, Ivy, is no different. But she is trying to help her sister because her sister made a bargain with the fake queen and her sister does not remember what she made, and it caused a lot of consequences for Ivy, her sister, and her family because of like the domino effect of the sister making a very horrible bargain with the fake queen. They now might lose their house. They are not really well liked in society at the moment. They are just like outcasts because of everything that went on right there. So Ivy feels like the bargain and that the prince is now wanting someone's hand in marriage, Ivy feels like this is her chance to help her family and set things straight and make things right. I feel like this book hooks you from the very beginning. You kind of get like, it's not necessarily a prologue, it's just like a little story before the story actually starts. So it says then, and then you switch it and you get the start of the story with 1471 with the War of Roses, and this kind of is where the alternative history starts. And so I love history, and I thought that the historical element in this book was really fun, and it hooked me immediately even before the start of the book. And so we jump about 400 years to 1848, and so I will say that I loved this book before it even started. I was immediately hooked. Everything about this was really fun to me. The like bit of historical elements, the fantastical elements, the romance. It was so fun, and I definitely recommend that you check this book out because I feel like I didn't explain it very well, but it is really fun and I loved it. I convinced my sister to put it on her TBR. So the next book I read was An Arc of an Academic Affair by Jodi McAllister. I read this from July 22nd to July 23rd. It was very addicting. I absolutely enjoyed it. It is about these two academics, and they have been academic rivals since they were 18 and they were freshmen in college. Fast forward about 15 years later, they're now in their early 30s and they're trying out for this university position, and it is very well sought after because positions like this with tenure and a steady pay don't really come that often. So they're competing for this position, but when one of them wins it, they find out that the university has this policy called partner hire, where as long as their spouse has the qualifications of the university that the university imposes, they can get hired on as well, kind of like as a team. They decide to get fake married so that they can both actually take advantage of this policy and both work at the university. But of course, whenever that happens, the feelings start to mix, the lines start to blur, and they are going a little crazy because they don't know what's real and what's fake. The reason why I just really liked this book was because of our male main character. His name is Jonah. His patience and his unconditional love for our female main character Sadie was just like ideal. I absolutely loved it. It made him love him even more and made me love his chapters even more. Also, it's a little unique because in Jonah's chapters he has footnotes, and I thought that's so fun. He'll say one thing to us as the reader, but then the footnote will say something different. So it'll be like, I told Sadie blah 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 blah. Footnote. In reality, I thought she was really pretty and her sweater was so nice, but I couldn't tell her that to her face. And so it could have been included in the book, but I thought it was so super fun because he's an academic, and so I feel like it would be very like as if he were writing an academic paper and he uses footnotes in his academic paper. So I feel like it added more to his personality as an academic and as like this professor to include footnotes in his chapter. It like really immerses you into the book a bit more. I also loved reading not only their individual growth as characters, but also as a couple. It was just so fun reading about them being comfortable with each other and kind of getting out of this like hateful like rival mindset. They didn't really hate each other. They were rivals, and you really see that start to not really start to change, but the feelings behind the rivalry start to change. They're still very competitive people at heart, especially whenever you see them become a couple. So like I said, I did receive an arc of this book by HA Books and NetGalley, and it is set to be published November 11th of this year. And I will say, side note, if you love books that include like books, if you love reading books, how do I explain this? If you love reading books that talk about books, I will definitely recommend An Academic Affair, because they talk about that a lot, and especially Sadie. She loves reading romance books, and so you get like romance books recommendations that she gives to her sisters. So I definitely recommend this if you love reading books that include books in the book. So the next book I read, which I read from July 20th to July 24th, is The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. I liked this one. I think I gave it like 3.5, 4 stars. But this book is about our two characters. Their names are Georgia and Eli, and they met when they were in high school. They became friends, but they didn't start dating until like they were in college, like sophomore, junior year or something. They dated for a few years, and then they broke up. Something happened, and they, not like something dramatic, it's just they kind of, their priorities weren't in the right place, and they kind of just broke up because of that. And 5 years goes by, they haven't spoken to each other, but their best friend is getting married, and so they are both the best people for their best friend. He is the groom, and so he chose Eli to be his best man and Georgia to be his best woman, and so they are tasked with planning the wedding when all these mishaps start happening. And so this is a bit hard for Georgia because she does not want anything to do with Eli. She is a bit hurt when it comes to how their relationship ended, and we only get her point of view, but we can tell that Eli is trying to use this opportunity to tell Sadie something. But all these things start happening. Like I said, the cake maker gets sick, and the photographer can't, he got in a car accident or something. Like, things start happening, and they are tasked with trying to fix it. And so it's kind of like them not only fixing the wedding, but fixing their relationship through helping their best friend getting married. I thought this one was really fun. I love the fact that this one did not have a split timeline. I feel like whenever you have second chance romance, there is typically a split timeline in there because you have to figure out what happened back then. And we do get like little instances where we see what happened back then, but they're like as if she's remembering it, so it's still within the chapter and it's very short. You just get like little glimpses of conversations and feelings that they were feeling back then, and so I really loved that. I also loved our characters. They were super fun. I was never annoyed. I feel like sometimes I feel annoyed with characters because it's like, okay, all y'all had to do was just communicate with each other, but I feel like they were both very instances that happened when they were growing up. You can tell why their relationship didn't work out the first time around, and so it just felt very like they really had a grown-up relationship. It just did not work out because of circumstances that happened, but then they come back together and are able to overcome those problems. And so I definitely recommend this if you love second chance romance and just friends to lovers, because this one was really sweet. This one, yeah, I did enjoy this one. I can't remember what I gave it. I think I gave it like a 4 stars though. So this next book I read from July 10th to July 31st. This was my book club pick with my sister, and that is Nightshade by Autumn Woods. Okay, let me take a second for this book because I did not enjoy it as much as my sister did. It felt like there was a whole lot of nothing going on. I could not accurately explain what this book is about, so I'm going to read the back of it. It says, Ophelia Winters wants revenge. Isolated in the Scottish Highlands, Charlestown University only welcomes students from the most powerful families. Ophelia doesn't belong, but a rare scholarship grants her the opportunity to investigate her parents' accidental death near the castle grounds. Her plan? Keep her head down and punish those responsible. The last thing she needs is to wind up in a mafia war or step on the toes of actual royalty. Things get off to a rocky start when she runs afoul of the mysterious Alex Corbo Green, son of her prime suspect. As far as she's concerned, he is a younger version of his billionaire father, a monster hiding beneath a beautiful facade. Loneliness has been Ophelia's only companion for years, but when an unknown tormentor begins to stalk her, she realizes she may not be able to survive Sorrowsong on her own. It's Alex who becomes her ally, an alibi for murder. And as she begins to fall for the soft heart that hides beneath his hard exterior, her hunger for revenge wavers. Can she bring herself to destroy everything he's ever known? I just feel like this book, you would think it would be high stakes, intense, all up here, and it's really not. It's a very gloomy setting, very slow in my opinion. It feels like there's nothing going on, and I just feel like there wasn't really any action. I don't know if it's because it took me so long to read it because we were reading it for a book club. I just feel like though, however, it just wasn't my favorite, and it did feel like nothing was happening. That's the only point that I can go across. Like, I was so bored with this whole thing because I did not enjoy this one as much as I thought I did. However, my sister did like this one. She was obsessed with this book. She picked it up and ran with it. So I do recommend that you check this one out. So if she liked it, then maybe someone out there will like it as well. So the last book I read in July, which I read from July 28th to July 31st, is Undercover Bromance by Alyssa K. Adams. This one is the second book in this series, the Bromance Book Club. I like this one. I gave this one 5 stars, but that's beside the point. I gave this one 4 stars. This one was so fun. It's a little enemies to lovers. You have a whole plot at hand though, because our 2 main characters, Liv and Mac, are trying to bring down this celebrity chef when Liv realizes that he has been sexually harassing the women that work for him in his restaurants. And so you get like that whole ordeal where they're trying to bring down this guy together, but then at the same time they're starting to have feelings for one another. And so like I said, it's a little enemies to lovers. They're trying to bring down this guy. They are kind of forced together because of that plot at hand, and I absolutely enjoyed it because of the fact that they are trying to bring down the celebrity chef. I will say check the trigger warnings because like I said, he sexually assaults and harasses these women, and then he tries to pay them off, he tries to quiet them, he fires them, or he makes them sign NDAs. And so I will say to check the trigger warnings because this could be a triggering topic for some people out there. But I loved it. It was super fun. I loved our main characters, especially Mac. He's so funny and so silly, and he is like the founder of the Bromance Book Club, and so you kind of get a lot of the Bromance Book Club in here, and I really recommend this book. You definitely have a strong female character in Liv. Mac is like the very like golden retriever, and she is very much a black cat if you like that type of trope. So I definitely recommend this book and this series, but last reminder, don't forget to check the trigger warnings if you are interested in this one. Okay, so we moved to my bed because my feet were hurting. But now we're going to talk about the books that are on my August TBR. This is in no particular order, but we are going to start with the book that I actually already read. So this one was on my August TBR. I did read it August 1st and then finished it August 2nd. And at the time I'm filming this, it's August 3rd or 4th. I don't know the days. But that is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I have been wanting to read this book for a while if you've watched some of the videos on my channel. But I did get to this one. And I'm not going to say my thoughts, but this one was on my August TBR. This one is about main character Emily. It is Valentine's Day, and she figures out that her boyfriend is cheating on her, and she is very hurt about it. She goes home to her grandma's house, and she falls asleep on her grandma's couch and realizes the next day when she wakes up that it is the start of Valentine's Day again. And so she is reliving this day over and over and over again, and she doesn't know how to stop it. But throughout this day, she does make like a new friend. His name is Nick, and she can't really stop running into him. No matter what happens every single Valentine's Day, she is like destined to run into Nick. But again, she doesn't know. She's trying to figure out how to get out of this like little loophole that she has fallen into. And so this is like where the book is. This is the plot and the dilemma of this book. It was really fun. That's all I'm gonna say about it. So again, these books are in no particular order, but the next one that I want to get to in August is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This book has been on my TBR since it came out. I really don't know what it's about. I know it's like a spicy swimmer. It says that it's a competitive diver and an ace swimmer jumping in forbidden waters in the steamy college romance. I really don't know what this one's about. I don't want to read it though because I like going into my books blind. But a lot of people have been talking about this. I have been hearing mixed reviews, but I do hope that sometime this month I do get to it. And if not, then at least by the end of the year. So the next book that I want to get into is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. My friend at the Shelfie Society over on Instagram, she gifted me this book and I am so excited. It is a bit of a chunky book, however, but I do plan on reading it hopefully this month again, and if not this month, definitely by the end of the year. I don't know what this one's about. I do think it's about like this, is it this girl that falls into this fake world and she meets this guy and then they fall in love. This part says, do not touch the sword, do not turn the key, do not open the gate. I think she did open the gate. Spoiler alert. I think she did open the gate, and that's where she like gets into this fae world and she meets this guy. I don't know his name. It's something weird, I think. But I do plan on getting to this book sometime next month. Or this month. Sometimes this month. I hope I just didn't jinx myself. The next book that I want to get into, I've actually started reading already. I started this yesterday. Or the day before. Wait, I don't know what day it is. What day is it? Okay, so it's the 4th. So yes, I started this on the 2nd, so 2 days ago. And that is Crazy Stupid Romance by Alyssa K. Adams again. This is the 3rd book in the Romance Book Club series. As you can see, I am almost done with it. I've read this much of it and I have this much left. I am hoping to finish this one today, but this one follows Noah. He's like the hacker in the book club period, and he is in love with his best friend. Her name is Alexis. Alexis is, you see both Noah and Alexis in Undercover Romance. I can't remember if you see him in the Romance Book Club or if you see Alexis in the Romance Book Club, because I did read that book last year, so it's been a minute. But you both see them in Undercover Romance, and we kind of get their story, and they are best friends. And so it's definitely friends to lovers. I am liking this one very much, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because it is not an August wrap-up yet. You'll get that next month. Then the next one that I want to read is Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. We know that I've been slowly making my way through the Rebel Brew Ranch series. I've already talked about the fact that I have a reading vlog of the first 2. I plan on reading the last 2 this month and filming a reading vlog for the last 2 and finish it out with the part 2. And so this one's definitely on my Lost and Lassoed. This one's definitely on my August TBR. This one follows, I don't remember his like full name, but this one follows Gus and Teddy. They hate each other. We see them in Done and Dusted and in Swift and Saddled, and they hate each other. But something might be happening between them. Obviously so, because they have their own book. So I'm very excited for this one. I've been waiting for their story since I met them in Done and Dusted. And so I am definitely going to get to this one this month. Sometime this month, hopefully. Never say never. The next one that I'm going to hopefully read in August, I've been seeing, every time I go to the bookstore, I see this one. And it's like not the spine. It is it's like displayed to where you see the cover. And I'm just super intrigued. I'm very easily influenced, I feel like, when it comes to books. So I have been just so intrigued by this book, and I finally bought it so that I can see what's up with it, and that is Love and Other Conspiracies by Mallory Marlowe. I don't know what this one's about. I am sure it is about them maybe looking to find Bigfoot and then they fall in love with each other. We'll read this top part though, because I like going into my books blind. But it says the hardest thing for a paranormal conspiracy theorist and a web series producer to believe in is finding love in this swooning debut romantic comedy. I love books that just like feel like a rom-com. This one does not feel like a rom-com. This one might feel like a rom-com. I'm talking like Sweet Home Alabama, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Crazy Rich Asians. Like, I just love books that feel like rom-coms, and this is the vibes I'm getting with this. It looks silly, and it looks like it'll be so unserious, and those are the best type of books in my opinion. So hopefully I do get to this one in August. And then the last book that I hope to get to in August, can you guess what it is? I feel like I've talked about this book a lot, but that is Cash by Jessica Peterson. I don't know what this one's about, but I feel like I have said Molly, however, has ran out of luck. I don't remember what book. This honestly might have been my July TBR, but this one is going to transfer over, if it has been on my July TBR, to August, because the next book or whatever is getting released, the 2nd or 3rd one or something, and those look fun. So I want to get to this one before those ones get released. I don't know if you can tell, but it is definitely a sports romance. I'm joking. It's a cowboy romance. But it is a cowboy romance, and I have been not really in my cowboy romance era anymore. I have been reading a lot of like these types of books, a lot of like fantasy. So this one, we will have to get back into this mood. But that is all on my August TBR. This is it for my July wrap-up / August TBR video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some good recommendations. Leave me some recommendations, however, because even though I have a never-ending TBR list and I keep adding books that I should not add because I should finish the books that I have, I do love buying books and I do love reading new stories. So leave me any recommendations that you have. I feel like this will be very fun, and I love seeing recommendations from people because I feel like, because I follow a lot of the same people and watch a lot of the same people, a lot of the same books are being recommended. So give me some book recommendations that are a little out there in terms of like being talked about. They aren't really talked about a lot. They're a little underrated, because I'm looking to get my hands on some new reads, of course, after I finish like all of these books. So if you like this book, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe and follow me on my other book socials, and to watch my other videos, and to watch, I don't know what to say. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe though. Bye. Look, now I have to put all these up, which is not as fun as filming the videos and taking them off the bookshelf, but I will go ahead and put those up. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.